Welcome to Authors Revealed. I'm Becky Anderson. So excited, and so are a lot of other kids. It's Tom Angleberger and his last book in the Origami Yoda series. It's Emperor Pickeltine Rides the Bus. Well, Tom, welcome back to Naperville and Anderson's.
Yeah, thanks. I love coming back here.
No, it's always a blast when you come back, and kids can't absolutely wait. So I want to know, this is the last book,
Right,
in the Origami Yoda series.
it is.
It's with a lot of tears, but then everybody's just loving the book.
Oh, well, that's nice of you to say.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
So the book's been out almost a month. And what are you hearing about that? Oh, I can't believe it's over. But what other things are you hearing from all your fans?
I think a lot of them aren't taking it seriously when I say it's the last book.
Yeah.
A lot of them think, oh, if I just give him a good suggestion, he'll write another one.
Right.
And so that's the thing, is there's a million more Star Wars characters that we could have done, you know.
Sure.
And who knows, maybe someday. But right now, the story that I really wanted to tell, the story which is about kids on Earth, that story has reached the finish line.
Yeah.
And the story is wrapped up, and I'm done with it. And it's possible I'll be inspired to do another one someday, like when the new movies come out, that could inspire something new.
Oh, sure.
But right now, it is finished, and I'm trying to get that point across to the kids and say, no, you got to take your time, read this one slowly, because this is it.
This is it. But a lot of, without spoilers, because we don't want to give this away for kids who haven't read it yet. But a lot of storylines do sort of tie up some things.
I tried to tie up absolutely everything. When I finished it, I realized there was like one storyline I forgot to tie up. Tommy's obnoxious brother.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Nobody liked him anyway, so we'll never find out what happens to Tommy's obnoxious brother. But other than that, I tried to tie up everything. And I also, though, planted this giant Easter egg in there only for the hardcore people that have been following sort of the mythology of this all along. There's an Easter egg about a possible future for Origami Yoda.
Okay.
So, there's stuff hidden in there, but everything else gets wrapped up.
Well, it's hidden in there, but it won't hatch, not yet.
Yeah,
for a while,
right.
Right. So McCrory Middle School, where this whole series has taken place, in this, there's a field trip to, sort of that 8th grade field trip that all of us get to go on. And I did one of those, those Washington, D.C. trips that you take, or one of those that a lot of schools do. So tell us a little bit about what happens in the story without giving too much away.
Okay, well, the field trip seems like it's going to be a huge success because they worked so hard to get the field trip. They got it. They made friends with the principal, finally. Everybody's happy. It should be a lot of fun. Yeah. But Harvey's the guy that made Darth Paper back several books ago. Harvey sneaks an evil pickle onto the field trip. And that's Emperor Pickeltine here.
Pickeltine, yeah.
And Harvey sneaks him on board and just causes all kinds of trouble. Because the Emperor, he's just so evil, he's so bad, he turns the whole thing sour. The sour side of the Force. Yeah. Yeah. So mayhem ensues.
Okay, and as always, as it has to, with a lot of humor added in there. So was it hard for you to say goodbye to, Tommy and Dwight and everybody?
Yeah.
I mean, the teachers, the principal, he's such a great character in the book.
It was hard. It was very hard. And in fact, I was kind of like the kids. I kept telling myself it wasn't really over for a while, but I realize now it is. And it's hard to say goodbye, but I got a lot of plans for other stories I want to write and stuff. But Dwight is always going to be very real to me. And so he's still alive in my brain somewhere. And
so there could be something. Never say never.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll write about him, but he's still there. He's ready to show up from time to time on my website, probably.
Yeah. Okay. So with this is technically the 6th book in the actual books. You had the 7th.
It got very confusing.
I know,
yes.
but with the 7th, the R2D2 book thrown in there, but over 4.5 million books sold worldwide of this series.
I've heard that. That's hard to believe.
Well, no, it's not hard to believe. I mean, they've been translated into a lot of other languages. Yeah. But it's not hard to believe. But with all the paper folding and the great things you do within this book, for the first book, where did that little seed come from? Tell us where you got the idea to do or
right.
origami.
Well, I've been an origami folder for a long time, Star Wars fan for a long time. Right. And except for maybe trying like an X-Wing or something, I had never really had that idea to put Star Wars and origami together. Yeah. And then on the internet, I saw a picture of this incredible origami Yoda that this Japanese origami master had made. And it's still out there. It floats around all the time. Every time somebody discovers it, they put it on Twitter. Yeah. And I saw it, and what I did was I folded my own version of Yoda, a really simple one, because I wasn't good enough to fold the one the master had made. Right. And it turned out to be a finger puppet. I put it on my finger, and it just took off from there. Right. It changed my life.
Yeah. So middle school, and middle school for me, I love middle school. I had a great time.
Did you?
School. I did, and there's those things. Some kids don't though. So I want to know the fodder for you, because obviously, Tommy, Dwight, all the different characters. Some of these, they're part you. They may have been kids you knew when you were in middle school, or the principal, some of the teachers. So tell us about your middle school experience and what of that experience has become part of this series.
Well, the whole idea of the books is, could Origami Yoda have saved me from 3 years of disaster? And they really were. They were disastrous years. Just. And so much of it, when you're in middle school, you think, oh, everybody hates me or whatever. But looking back on it now, I'm like, well, no wonder they hated me. I was acting like an idiot the whole time, or a jerk, or a Harvey. And so, what if I had Yoda there to say, like, just don't say that. Don't say that. You're going to hurt somebody's feelings if you say that out loud. Just keep it in your head. Everything could have been different with a little bit of origami Yoda wisdom.
The wisdom.
So I'm using my author powers to change history, you know.
And I love the wisdom, that he spells out throughout.
Yeah, you know what? Lots of times I write a chapter, I don't know what the advice is going to be.
Yeah. So the humor, is a foundation for so many things, and it's a great sort of vehicle to tell a story, obviously, but also, it's. I think it's just a great sort of fodder to begin with, and it can tell a lot of different things. So tell me, where does your sense of humor come in? And I've heard that you come from a family who loves to tell stories. And tell a good joke.
Yes, my parents are both storytellers. My mother goes more for the drama, and my father usually goes for the humor. Right. And so I just grew up with all these stories. My father making outrageous jokes and stuff. And I just fell right into that, and I guess it's just part of who I am now. That I don't know that I could write a serious book,
right? Yeah.
Because even I don't know if you know this, I'm writing Return of the Jedi, and it's probably going to be the funniest. Hopefully, that's the thing. I never know if other people will think it's funny, but to me, it's going to be a very humorous retelling of Return of the Jedi.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So I think humor can be such a great communicator, and it can communicate sometimes more serious things too. But I think these books, it's not only the words you write, it's what you draw in these that adds so much humor. And so balancing that, I've always wondered, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do you write the story and then add in your illustrations
I write
later?
the story first. Yeah. And I mean, I really try to go through it the way it is, where each character writes their story, and I try to, at that time, be that character, think about that character. And then Tommy puts it all together, the words, and then Kellen goes back and he draws it. Yeah. And being Kellen is so much fun, going through and just desecrating what the other kids have done. He has no respect. If someone else is trying to build up drama, and he's just cutting them down with some kind of silly drawing, Yeah, right. And he's funny. He's the humor of the book. Tommy, if you were just to read through just Tommy's stuff, he's dead serious. Yeah. It's Kellen is the guy who adds the humor and the silly stuff to the books. And that part is so much fun, and that part almost didn't exist. That was my editor's prompting to make all that. And I cannot imagine the books without it. Yeah. But first, even when I started doing it, I thought, no, this is wrong. I'm messing up this book. And now I realize that's
what kids love about them.
Yes, the messy, it needed to be messed up.
Right. Yeah. So you're channeling all these different different, you know, the Tombies, the Kellens,
right.
the Dwights to put into these books, but also too in this book, you know, they're 8th graders now, so things are.
Well, no, actually, they're still in the 7th grade.
Well,
this is the tail end of 7th grade.
Tail end of 7th grade, but things are changing. Little relationships.
There's changes going on.
There's changes going on, and some kids will go, ooh, but there's a little girl and boy, you know, but the relationships but it was always such great friendships. But there might be a little kiss here and there.
Oh,
right?
dear. Oh, dear. Yes, yes. Some people have been a little shocked. There's
no, but I think
PDA, public display of affection, a little bit. Yes.
Right, right. And a lot of kids have said they love that part of it. But yeah, but it's such great friendships, and I love the part that, you know, you have girls and boys in equal measure in all these stories in this series, which is great.
Yeah, I think the girl characters are some of the
oh my gosh,
best
yes,
characters.
yes,
I
right.
can't imagine the books without them. I think they're awesome.
So tell me, channeling that inner child of yours, you know, when you were in middle school. And I always find that the humor, my husband's like that. The things that make him laugh the most, I think he's just channeling his younger self when he was in middle school. And I think so many men are like that. And I think I am too. I laugh at the same things that I might have laughed in middle school. So is that hard, getting that humor?
It's not hard at all. In fact, I can't turn it off.
Okay.
I mean, if I just can't, I can't turn it off. When I sit down to write, that's what comes out.
So Lucasfilms, and knowing that we're going to have a new series of films coming out, which is so interesting the way they've flip-flopped, you know, from the original 3. Where did your love of Star Wars, where did it begin?
Okay, well, the first time I saw it, actually, although the first time I saw it, I was a little confused by it. I was only 6 years old. I found it a little confusing, but then I saw it 2 more times while I was still out, and then I got little cassette tape that played the story over and over again. I got the action figures, just immersed myself in all that, and it's never not been part of me ever since then.
Are you excited about the new films coming out?
Yeah. I mean, all these new characters to fold. You know, I keep trying to get Lucasfilm to let me see some of the new characters so I can draw them or fold them, but that hasn't happened yet.
So has it ever been difficult getting the rights, you know, to put all this into books?
They've been awesome about it.
Which is so cool, because we even got a hassle from Universal for using the word Muggle when we had a Harry Potter party.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, you know, companies do have to protect
their
trademarks and stuff. And if I had tried to do this in a sneaky fashion, they probably would have gotten mad at me. But we contacted them and said, this is what we want to do. And they said, go for it. And they've been so supportive ever since.
And I'm just amazed, Star Wars, there's Star Wars everything, you know. And when you think of all of there's like 3 generations now that have enjoyed everything Star Wars. And it keeps going, keeps going. It's just amazing. So paper folding.
Okay.
Okay, I want to know, how many origami Yodas have you folded, and can we reach the moon at this point?
Okay, possibly.
Okay.
When the book premiered, I did 1,000 to send out to bookstores and librarians and stuff.
I remember that.
So that was 1,000 right off the bat. And then I've been folding them all the time ever since then. I mean, I folded several origami Yodas today. During my school visits and stuff. 2 giant ones and at least 1 smaller one. I just fold them all the time. And so I've got a lot.
Wow.
I've got a lot. I think, though, there will be a kid coming to the store tonight who's folded 1,000 of them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's like 1,000 paper cranes, you know?
Yeah, it is. I put out that challenge to them to see. I say it's like a really neat journey to fold 1,000 of them, and some of the kids have done it. I think one of them's coming tonight.
Well, I think between what you folded since you started this whole series and what kids have, it has to reach the moon.
Right. Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
So, were you a big reader growing up?
Oh, yes.
And did you? You read regular children's books, but I'm sure you were probably into a lot of cartoons or comics or, you know.
Right, sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to hear some of my favorite stuff?
Some of your favorite stuff,
You know, what's interesting is being here in Chicago, I was a huge fan of Daniel Pinkwater. And so, of course, he called Chicago Hogborough.
That's right.
And so here we are in Hogborough, and we're actually in the outskirts now, which was Baconburg. And you take the bus into Hogborough, and you go on these crazy adventures in downtown Chicago.
Yeah, for sure.
And you meet talking lizards and a guy with a chicken on his head and stuff like that.
Right.
So I just loved Pinkwater. And sometimes when I go back and read a Pinkwater book, I'm stunned by how much I've stolen from him. How much of my books are just me imitating Pink Wolf.
Oh, and his picture books. I remember reading those over and over to
Big
my
Orange
kids.
Blot?
Oh my gosh, all those books.
Yeah.
And you never tired because they entertained you no matter what age you were. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. So, what is your earliest memory of wanting to be a writer or an artist? And do you remember that first major thing that you did or wrote that go, wow, this is what I'm going to do?
Well, I had so many failures along the way, and I kept always trying to do a new one and then failing at the next thing. But one of my first successes was in the 5th grade. I won $10 from the American Legion in an essay. I think I came in 2nd place in an essay contest about why I love the American flag. And it was very sincere. I love the American flag. It was very sincere. But getting that $10 afterwards, I was like, wow, this is something. This is $10. Sure. And ever since then, been telling stories, writing, drawing, doing stuff.
Right.
I've never stopped. But there was a long period, because when you're in school and you write a story, your teacher's like, oh, this kid wrote a story, that's great. After you graduate and you write a story, suddenly you're like, who am I going to show this to? And you send it off and it gets rejected. That was a long period of like 15 years between getting rejected and finally getting a book published. There was a long, tough road there.
Right. So you went to William & Mary in Williamsburg, Virginia, to school, and you majored in art. And then I think I read you worked on the school, the university's college newspapers.
Right. Right? I had a cartoon in the school paper, and I thought, oh, good, I'll graduate. Someone will want me to continue this cartoon in the national newspaper. Of course, that didn't happen.
Yeah, but you did get a job with the Roanoke, Virginia paper, right?
I ended up being a reporter.
Okay. So tell us about this experience, because being a journalist, and I've talked to so many authors, being a journalist, it really added a lot to their writing. There was something the experience was invaluable for them as writing fiction later. So tell us about how that did for you. And I know there's one instance that was sort of added to that spark for that first book that you wrote.
Well, it is incredible. You go out and you meet these people, and we used to say you're an expert for a day. You know, you go out and you'd cover a guy. Like I used to cover a guy that is a jouster in the Renaissance fairs. You know, and I went out with him. We had this great time. You come back and you're like, yes, jousting is the coolest thing ever. You type it up. And then the next day you're like, something completely different. And you're like, wow, pie making is the coolest thing ever. And you get so excited about it and you learn all these new things. Sure. But sometimes you get sent on assignments that you would not have chosen. And one of those assignments, and actually I remember not wanting to do this, sort of telling the editor, but I ended up going to the sewage treatment plant because they were upgrading the sewage treatment plant.
Big story.
The guy took me on a 2-hour tour of the sewage treatment plant. So that's 2 hours of up close and personal with the smell.
Wow.
And so I came back and I wrote my story and I sent it into the editor and he wrote back, "You've got to be kidding." Because it was simply too descriptive. It was too much information. And so what I did was I kept that. And there was another reporter who saw it and loved it and actually like printed it out and hung it up. Because it was this elaborate stuff about the well, I don't even want to get into it now. It's gross. It's disgusting. Yeah. So anyway, one day I was like, you know what? This thing, which was too much for the adult readers in the newspaper, is perfect for kids. Kids are the audience for this. So I ended up writing that. That became my first book. And now it's been re-released. It's called The Quick Pick Papers. Poop Fountain.
Poop Fountain,
because that's what they do at the sewage treatment plant. They shoot it up in the air.
Yeah, right.
So that's out now. It's a new series. And so the first story, kids go to see the sewage treatment plant. In the second one, they're going to take a trip to see this legendary rat with a human face that lives under a building nearby. And then there's a third one that I don't even want to discuss yet. I haven't figured out how to prepare the public for how disgusting this third one is going to be.
Oh, it will be. But, kids will love it.
I hope they do. I hope they will.
Well, it's fun that you're going back to that original story.
I'm is really fun. I hope the kids will pick up on it.
So you wrote this as Sam Riddleberger, though.
Right. So Sam, we're erasing Sam from history.
Good.
It's re-released under my name. You can find it right next to Origami Yoda in the store.
Okay, that's really, really fun. So I want to talk about a book that's not by you at all.
Okay, good.
And it's an absolutely fantastic book. We absolutely
Good. Are you talking about this book right here?
We are talking about this book. El Defo.
I am so excited about this book because this is by my wife, Cece Bell. And it's spectacular. It's just a spectacular looking book. It looks fantastic. And I was there, you know, through the 2 years that she worked on this. She worked so hard on this book, much harder than me. I don't put anywhere near this amount of work in. But it's the story of how she lost her hearing when she was 4, and how she dealt with that when she ended up going to school with, I think we got one picture here. Well, this picture will show. She went to school with this enormous, that picture doesn't show it, this enormous, well, I don't know what happened to it. You have to read the book to find out. Enormous hearing aid with these big wires that went up into her ears. And, you know, that's a strange thing to have at school. Yeah. And so she had to figure out how to deal with that. And so this book is about becoming a superhero.
Yeah, no, and graphic novels are so much work goes into a graphic novel.
I don't think she knew.
Oh my gosh, but it's
I'm so glad she did it.
It's absolutely brilliant. We adore it, and we've put it on our mock Newbery list, and we are talking about it everywhere we can.
Oh,
so,
thank you.
So I guess my next question is, with 2 artists in the house, and you both went to William and Mary. You know, that's where you met each other in college. What's it like working with another artist, another writer?
Oh well, we have a great time. Sometimes we discuss everything with each other, but like this book, she kept a lot of it secret. She never let me read it. I would hear little bits about it as she went, but I didn't get to read it until it was all finished. She didn't want my advice on this one. Sometimes she asks for my advice, sometimes she doesn't. Sometimes I ask for her advice. She's pretty good, actually. She's helped me figure out some stuff with my books. And every once in a while we collaborate. We collaborated on this book, Cranky Doodle.
Cranky Doodle, I love that.
It was a long car ride, and we came up with this whole story together. And then after the car ride, I sat down and typed it up, and she drew it up, and we slammed it all together, and we made this crazy book called Cranky Doodle.
Oh, it's a really great picture book.
We have a great time. We have a great time.
And I love her Sock Monkey books.
Oh, you like the Sock Monkey books?
I like the Sock Monkey books. I really like those. So collaborating is fun for you guys. That's really cool. So what do you hope, you know, now that we've come to a conclusion, and a lot of kids are hoping that it won't be the end, but what do you hope that kids, and even kids who will be new to the series, just starting off with Origami Unit, what do you hope that kids will take away from reading this series besides just being so entertained? What else do you think?
That is the number one thing. I want them to be entertained. I want them to have fun. I never wanted it to be too serious, even when it got a little serious.
Right.
I think the number one thing, maybe the number 2 things, doing. The book is about doing. It's about absorbing something like Star Wars, but not just being a passive observer of it. It's about being part of it. And that's the amazing thing about Star Wars. Like if you go to Star Wars Celebration, the big convention, you see people doing Star Wars. There's some guy who's made a complete stormtrooper outfit, and then there's another guy who's done a Star Wars painting, and another guy who's built an R2-D2 that works. A lot of that stuff is inaccessible when you're in middle school, but getting a piece of paper and folding, that's totally accessible, and it's cheap. So I want kids to do, and it doesn't have to be Star Wars. Whatever the thing they're interested in, don't just soak it up, do it.
Yeah.
But then the other thing, the number one thing of all of this is just be nice.
Yeah.
That is Origami Yoda's main advice.
Yeah. And that is the best part of wisdom right there. Right?
I thank you for that.
So besides the next 2 quick pick papers, books you're going to have, anything else that you got working on?
Oh, I've got so much. The Return of the Jedi book. John Hendricks, who I think is one of the absolute most fantastic illustrators out there right now. He's illustrating a book of mine. Oh, cool. And that should be out next year. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, he's
Cece
great.
and I are working on a easy reader series together. And there'll be a quick pick sequel coming out. I've got a lot of stuff, but unfortunately, no, none of it's going to have Origami Yoda.
Okay. All right. That's okay. We'll look forward to all the other stuff. That's fantastic.
I hope my readers who will find one of the other things that
they'll love
like.
the quick pick books.
So.
They will absolutely will. Okay, I end these interviews with a little quiz. You know all the answers. So this is sort of lightning round. Whatever comes to mind. Okay. Favorite book when you were a kid?
Lizard Music by Daniel Pinkwater.
Oh, okay. All right. Favorite Star Wars character?
Yoda.
Favorite villain?
General Grievous.
Okay. All right. Favorite book in high school? Something that stayed with you since high school.
Favorite book in high school? Hard not to say To Kill a Mockingbird. I usually don't go for the popular answer, but that one stuck with me.
Okay, how about something when you were at William and Mary that has stayed with you?
Something I read at William and Mary?
Yeah.
Oh, gee, all those over-the-top Sartre and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, right.
But, you know, I used to sneak off and read a lot of graphic novels. Read Dark Knight when I was in college.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good choice.
With me.
Okay, that makes total sense. Okay, how about a book you faked reading? Because we've all done it at some point.
Oh, I had to fake read Huckleberry Finn.
Okay.
You know, I had to phony my way. I did great on that exam, by the way. I totally aced the test, but I had skimmed it.
Okay. How about a book, any book you've read your entire life that you've been an evangelist for, you had to tell enough people about it?
Let's see. I tell people, and I'll tell you now, The Friendship Doll by Kirby Larson.
Oh,
one of my all-time favorite books. That book needs to have a Newbery sticker on the front. That book was my Newbery pick. Broke my heart when it didn't get a Newbery. I love that book.
That's a great one.
Love that book. And you know, even though it says doll on the cover, a boy
will like that.
Is still allowed to read the book.
For sure.
If it should have been the friendship action figure, then the boys could have read it.
That's true. Okay, if you had a dinner and you could invite 3 people, alive or dead, so 3 authors or artists, who would those 3 people be?
Oh boy, man. Well, all right. I always have fun eating with Cece.
Okay.
You know,
okay, there's one.
Fun.
Okay.
Tony DiTerlizzi is always a live wire.
He's a lot
and
of
then
fun.
maybe I should add somebody that I've never met.
Yeah.
Let's see. I will go with Helen Creswell. Do you know Helen Creswell? Yeah. British writer. She's passed away, unfortunately. Right. Yeah. I always hoped. She was in the dedication of my first book, but she died right before it came out. I always hoped I'd have a chance to tell her how much she had meant to me. Yeah. So we'll invite her too.
Okay. Great. That would be a great dinner. Great party. Okay. And what are you reading now that you really liked, or something you read recently?
Friendship Down. No. That's previous. The 14th Goldfish by Jenny
Hall.
Hall.
That's really fun.
Love that. I'm ready to put a Newbery sticker on that one too.
Yep.
Loved that.
Yep. Fantastic. Okay. 100%.
All right.
All right.
I win.
Well, Tom, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for having me on. Yeah,
and congratulations, the last in the series of Origami Emperor Pickeltine.
Goodbye,
Rides the Bus.
Yoda. Yeah.
So thanks so much for talking
with
me.
Thank you.
Great conversation with Tom Angleberger about his last book in the Origami Yoda series. It's called Emperor Pickeltine Rides the Bus. Thanks for joining me on Authors Revealed.